Everybody, how you going? Welcome to episode
9.
9.
Number 9.
Well, actually, it's going to be a mixture of episode 8 and episode 9, episode 7.
What about we just call it 8.5?
No, we did that last time, didn't we? We were 8.5.
We could have been. Or maybe we could call it 6 because 6 scared of 7 because 7, 8, 9.
Oh, no. Hey, everyone. We certainly hope you're all well out there. Welcome onto the show. It's great to have you on the show. We're going to have a little bit of fun about episode 8, episode 7.
Your dementia's really kicked in now, hasn't it?
No, it's not my fault. It's Neil. He's causing all this stress I've got. We've had some fun. He named the last episode 7. And I'm looking on Facebook for episode 8, and I said to Neil, I can't find episode 8. Anyway, we realised that it was named number 7. and then, of course, Neil was trying to improve our sound at the last show, and he set up a mic to be near the bench where I was going to be working with the Carby, and unfortunately he had troubles getting that mic to integrate with the system, and then that created that, what was it, Jess?
Echo. Not doubling up of sound. That's called an echo.
I called it a double up of sound. So we had that echo going on for the first part of the show. So we're going to rerun that part, and then go from there. So
sounds like a plan.
So now we've got to realise why we've had all this trouble. All right, it's John Dundon and Hannah's fault.
Actually, no, it's more John's fault because he asked. If he just kept his mouth closed, we wouldn't have had this issue because there would have been no wedding.
Well, but wouldn't Hannah have beaten him to death if he didn't ask?
Well, that was on the horizon. But, it was all his fault. He asked.
Yeah, so unfortunately, Hannah and John took our full tech team away. And then when they come back, we're exhausted from partying, and we had all sorts of dramas.
A wedding and a reception and parties and families
So what was the goss, Jess? What went wrong at the wedding? Everything goes wrong at a wedding, doesn't it?
How
did it go?
No, the wedding actually everything went really smoothly well, except for the heel getting caught in the cracked pavement, and the police had to come and...
The police had to come?
Yes.
What, the fire brigade and all?
No. Well, you see, because we have...
emergency response extraction team or something?
It was quite close to that, because she was literally full-on stuck and not going anywhere. No, what happens, we have a bit of a tradition in our family where the bride will walk to the ceremony. So, getting married in the city, Hannah got dressed at the Como, so we're walking across the road, and lo and behold, there was actually, I think it was about 3 coppers on their little push bikes.
Oh, yeah.
So your dad made some random comment, I can't even remember what. And as Hannah's walking, we've all sort of walked ahead of her, and she's like, I can't go anywhere. And I'm like, what's the matter? She's like, shoe is stuck. And literally she had beautiful plum stilettos, but the bottom base got stuck in the thing. So the lovely police, it was actually a police lady that came to our rescue.
Awesome.
Ash, I think her name was. She did a U-turn and pulled out some little tool jiggy thing. And we managed to rescue the heel, and I think we delayed the wedding for about 5 minutes, which actually got Neil in ready for his filming and everything that he was doing.
He did some tech work there.
Yes.
I understand, unfortunately, John's twin brother couldn't come over from Melbourne.
No, they were in Melbourne. So if they did, they had to quarantine for the 2 weeks and everything. Yeah. So they're hoping to come over for their dad's 80th in October.
Oh, awesome.
So if everyone plays nicely and correctly and we have no more lockdowns or anything like that, they should be back over. But no, so that was really the only... hiccup that really happened. Oh, we did have, actually it was my first time in 17 years of being a florist. I had, how many vases was it, Neil? 9, 8, 7?
Something.
Pretty much every single vase either got chipped, broke, or just...
Oh, you're kidding me?
Just shattered.
Oh, there you go.
So, yes.
All part
but
of
other
the
than
fun.
that, no, it was all great. Yes, there was a few headaches and sore, croaky voices and everything from that with 2 days of partying.
That's enough talk of that rubbish.
But, I could go into more detail if you really want.
I'm sure we could. Just a quick recap on the start of the troll season. This isn't fantastic that we got our troll season underway and looking good for this year. We've got full on season this year, which is awesome. The AJ ran the Ossett series. Awesome turnout from the kids. We had a great time with the kids.
Yeah, it sounded like it was a good time.
It was wicked. I didn't get to the first of the AJ Early Bird series 1, but Neil went along to that, and Jess, you didn't make that one either, did you?
No, still had family down here, so I hung with the family. Neil was, he didn't ride, he was just manning the van because of his hand, which then turned into a trip to emergency that night and waiting for 3 days for potential surgery. So, it's all been happening.
So we'll get Neil to give us a report on the hand. So yeah, that was great. The Parthies ran the first of the summer series 1. Shout out to Savannah, Adrian Hawke's daughter. She had her first ride, top ride, Savannah. I reckon that was awesome to get around Davey Thomas's property for your first ever ride. That was wicked. We've got another young lady that's coming into trials, Kat Kingsley. And she's had her first ride at the summer series, and I believe...
I don't think she'll be very impressed with me this week, with me
What's
riding.
That?
Oh, well, I'm riding Sunday, so I need little Red back.
Oh, yeah.
So
I've managed to organise a bike for Kat, so that's all good. So she's having another ride this Sunday coming, which is the next of the Parthies events. So, yeah, heaps going. And we've had heaps of new starters. Peter Jones, a shout out to Peter Jones. And there was about 3 other guys, their first ride at the Parthy Summer Series 1. I can't think of their names at the moment, but it's all great. So looking forward to Summer Series 2 and further events. But what do you reckon? We might...
So I'm getting booted off now, aren't I?
So we might boot you out. We might bring Neil in. We'll do a quick recap of our 4-stroke discussion.
Fine, I'll just leave. You only got me here for a moment.
No worries. Cool.
Hello, how are we all? Hope you guys are well.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
So, what was the go? 4-stroke versus 2-stroke was the question, wasn't it? I think Ed Brown.
Yeah.
Basically asked the question, like, for trials, what's the differences between a 4-stroke and a 2-stroke?
Yeah.
Now
he was interested in the power characteristics, and then also from a riding point of view and maintenance and that sort of stuff.
The big thing for from my perspective is, first up, I guess, is the power characteristics and how it feels for a rider.
Yeah.
Essentially, as far as trials is concerned, there's not really any difference in performance power wise. It's more around how it feels. So on a 2-stroke, it's kind of solid through, whereas 4-stroke tends to be kind of pulsy, for want of a word. It kind of pulses. So the 4-stroke, if you're riding on the throttle, tends to put power to the ground better than the 2 if you're riding on the throttle.
If you're riding on the throttle, yeah, that's an interesting point.
Yeah.
And power-wise, the 4-stroke is the same in all of different motorcycle disciplines. You generally, to get the same amount of power, you got to go up a few cc's with a 4-stroke compared to a 2-stroke. So, a 250 2-stroke would be the equivalent of a 300 4-stroke type of thing.
Yeah.
Power-wise, yeah.
And
you were talking about the pulsating when the riding and riding on the throttle
essentially,
off the clutch.
When you're riding on the throttle, the 4-strokes are a little bit smoother. They put the power to the ground a little bit better. But with Trolls bikes being so linear in their power delivery, it doesn't really make that big a difference. I personally don't think it's that, unless you're riding really slippery stuff all the time. In Western Australia or in Australia, it's negligible, the difference. But the reality is, if you've got good clutch control, you'd be able to ride both just as well. So the clutch is how you're putting the power to the ground in all reality. Where it matters anyway.
There's no advantage of a 2-stroke or a 4-stroke against each other over a riding. It's much of a muchness.
If you took the entire field and we swapped them all over to the opposite bikes, one to the other, there'd be no change in scores or anything like that. In reality, I don't know if you'd agree with me on this, but it's more just your personal opinion, what you feel and what you enjoy. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all riding bikes only for fun, aren't we?
Exactly. I mean, the reality, some of the, when I say old school people, guys that have come up through trials on 4-strokes and that sort of stuff, they tend to want to buy 4-strokes because that's what they enjoy.
Yeah.
I find with the 4-strokes, because I've always been a 2-stroke man. And of course, when I have a test ride of a 4-stroke, I always forget about the engine braking. And when you're going up a step or something and you shut off with a 2-stroke, it'll roll on. With a 4-stroke, you've shut off too early. You go over the head of us because you're not anticipating that engine braking.
It's something that I personally find annoying. I'm not a fan of the engine braking. I like the bike to roll on. So that's my personal bit on that. Other people were complete opposite. They actually really like that and enjoy that side of it.
Yeah.
The other aspect is cost.
Yeah. Cost. Yeah. I mean, with a 4-stroke, you're gonna have a fair few moving parts. So
but outright to buy them,
outright to purchase, are dearer on the initial purchase. So the dearer to buy first up. You got more moving parts. If you blow it up, which is pretty unusual, with trials, you pretty rarely blow them up. But if you do blow a motor up on a 4-stroke, then obviously it's going to be a little bit more cost than a 2-stroke. The big advantage of a 4-stroke is you don't have to mix fuel.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about whether you remember, did I put oil in that fuel or not?
Yeah, exactly. That is true.
You don't have to think about
and you probably
that.
get a few more kilometres out of it.
Yeah. Well, there is a bit of versatility with 4-strokes, because if you're a farmer, then you can use it to do the ploughing as well.
And if you're into fishing, you can use it as an anchor. So you can see our bias which way. But the also from the point of view of performance wise, if you're a up and coming rider wanting to go up through the ranks and looking to increase performance of the bike over time, the 2-stroke is kind of very simple and very easy to do. 4-stroke's going to require parts and components made of titaniums and reducing reducing weight and reciprocating mass, and whereas a 2-stroke with a die grinder in a couple of hours you can turn it into an absolute weapon. So I guess that's the other side. But in reality, if you're making a choice between 4-stroke or 2-stroke, it's up to what you feel and what you enjoy on the bike, and there's no right or wrong. And I'd highly recommend that you actually go and ride other people's bikes. Go ask, because everyone's at a trial. Everyone's always happy to swap out and test ride different bikes. And there's no better way to find out what you really like and what you'd enjoy than to jump on and have a go.
Just have a ride on one. That's the best way to go. So,
So,
awesome. So Ed,
cool.
Ed, I hope you enjoyed that. It's that's a triple take now, because we had the voice doubling it, echoing it last show,
and then
now we've done it there. So there's your triple feedback. So awesome. Thanks, Neil. Hey, hang on, mate. Neil, come back here.
You got to talk about your injury.
You talk to the hand.
Talk to the hand. Yeah.
So I'm sure everyone will want to know how you're going with your hand.
To be honest, I'm sick of talking about it. I've repeated this bloody story so many times. But basically, simply put, I got an infection in this finger somehow. I'm not exactly sure.
Well, last time you told me you were allergic to marriage. So.
Yeah. It was on my wedding ring
finger. It's
finger.
your wedding ring finger.
So it must have something to do with that. It's clearly it's Jess's fault. But I had a pinch injury on this finger about 4 or 5 years ago, and the site of that injury from last time just randomly started to get infected, and my whole finger swelled up in my hand, and then I started getting what appears to be infection running up my arm. So it got fairly serious. I went to the hospital, and they thought it was more serious than I did. And then I spent 3 days in hospital waiting for an operation that didn't happen, but luckily enough the antibiotics have done a good job to heal that up. So I was doing some filming on Sunday, and it seems to have got to the point where it's rideable. Yeah,
because your problem was you couldn't actually hang on to the bars.
Yeah, I could not physically hold on to the bars and keep my hand on the bars. It's crazy. Your ring finger, just there has an enormous amount of pressure on the handlebars. I mean, that's always the heaviest calloused knuckle, for want of a word.
Yeah.
Or finger. So yeah, at the moment it feels like it's getting good, but we'll find out on Thursday when I go back to the surgeons. So
no worries.
Yeah.
Oh well, we'll look forward to seeing you back on the bike, mate,
Yeah.
and hope it heals up all right without any major dramas.
cool bananas.
Cool.
Alright,
No
get your
worries.
ugly mug off there.
So we'll welcome back the beautiful Jessica.
Oh yes, sweet talker. Oh.
Danger. Now, what we're going to do? So we're weekend. So really the last weekend, the last show episode. For the last 2 episodes, actually, we've been working on pre-event preparation. Now we're getting into your pre-event checks. So basically today we're going to cover your checklist for what you would
Yes.
do. Now this is going to be a good one for you, Jess, because go on. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, if you want, we've already chucked the link in the comments.
Yep.
So it'll be the first one up there.
I will bring it up here on screen for everyone
Oh,
to see.
Neil's
Oh,
going to
right.
get fancy
So-
because I was going to do this like for technology and go, oh, look, have a look at the pre-shot list here. So, yeah, but the link is in the comments. So
Yep.
if you want, you can download that at any time, print it off, even
Yep.
get it maybe laminated so then you can just
Yeah,
go
well,
with a whiteboard marker so then you can save the environment,
yeah,
maybe.
that's the way. Well, what I used to do, I used to make the kids. Because 3 boys, I used to make them tick it all off, and I'd check.
Let me
their
guess,
check.
back in their day, it was all handwritten, wasn't it? Or was it on
No,
like a
We had-
chalkboard?
We had a stone,
A stone
and a cold chisel.
Slate?
Yeah. So what we thought we'd do is we'll just work our way down through the check
I'll
sheet.
bring it up first, Alex.
Oh, that would be great.
Okay then, Neil. So you bring that up so they can see it.
Everyone can see it now. It's
So
up.
so the first thing you should do after a trial is wash your bike, right? So
So really, we should have this post and pre-event checklist.
yeah, it is actually, yeah. But as soon as an event is over, you are preparing for the next event. So it's pre-event. So, but now this is an important thing. Washing your bike, now I drilled into the kids. The reason you wash your bike is, first of all, because you want it to be clean, right? The next main thing is that it's clean for when you're going to do maintenance. When you're actually washing your bike, what you should be doing is having a good look at your bike while you're washing it. And that is when you notice a bolt missing, or this is not quite right, or whatever. Hence why you should always wash your bike with a toothbrush and only a toothbrush.
That's just because you're weird.
No, I'm only stirring
And
this
he
up.
does it with Colgate as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it actually is a very important part of when you're washing your bike. Keep an eye on your bike. Look for things as you're washing your bike. Once you've washed your bike, the most important thing then is to get rid of the moisture.
Yep.
Now, it's a variety of ways people will get rid of the moisture. Neil will blow it down with compressed air. Being careful not to blow things away. Mr. Frank Walling, he doesn't like to admit this, but he actually uses a garden blower.
I was going to say, does he use a blower vac?
Yeah, he does. He uses a garden blower, right?
Midlife crisis back.
But
The red
But-
Porsche of
Yeah.
the Ferrari of the gardening products.
exactly. But it's amazing once you've dried your bike and you think it's actually dry, and you park it, and then you get some compressed air and you just start to blow it out, how much actual moisture comes off it, right? Once you've done that, the best thing you can do for your bike then is to spray water dispersant lubricant on the bike.
Oh, but there's a couple of parts we need to look out for, isn't there?
Exactly.
Ah, see,
Exactly.
I'm
You're
learning.
You're learning. Now, what you need to do is, and we're actually working on this, so we'll keep you posted on the development of it, is you need to cover your discs up, right? When you're spraying your water dispersant over your bike, pay particular attention to where your swinging arm bearings are, your linkage suspension underneath. Remember, I tell you, don't forget to look underneath your bike. That's the most important part under there. Around your steering head bearings, the water disbursement around there, that's that sort of stuff, you know. But make sure you have your discs covered up.
Now, Mark Atherton has actually put in a good comment here. He said, isn't the best way to wash your bike is to make your minder do it?
I was going to say, yeah, to get someone else
Well,
to
actually,
do it.
I thought Mark Atherton was going to say, to wash your bike, wouldn't you just put it underwater? But who did that? Who did that?
Yeah, I think that was Andreas, wasn't it? The most recent one.
What's it? A bath?
Danger. So, yeah. So, there you go. Tick that off. Now, your air filter cleaned and re-oiled. Most important part of your whole bike.
You go onto there, just mention use WD-40 or something, not the blue CRC.
Oh, yeah.
Rubbers.
Good point Neil makes. Now, there is a CRC product, I think it's
Blue 2.26.
2.26, blue in a blue can, CRC. Now, that product does swell rubber. So it's a good idea to do your checkout. I mean, CRC has another product which is very similar to the WD-40, which is for lubricating and removing moisture, but doesn't actually swell rubbers. So check that out because that's an important point, Neil. Good point. Now, air filters. Here's one I prepared earlier. Now, your air filter is the number one and pretty well only protection for your motor. So this is probably the most important component on your bike. Now, when you're and from a performance point of view as well. So regular maintenance of your air filter. People will say to me, how often should I do my air filter? Now, that depends on the weather, the type of properties you're riding on, whether it's dusty, wet, whatever the case may be. Now, rule of thumb really is every trial you should be checking your air filter. Right? You'd be amazed how much build-up there is in there, particularly these young hoons that go flying around like 1,000,000 miles an hour, full throttle.
Don't look at me, I'm driving Miss Daisy when I'm on my trials bike.
So this is your most important part, right? Wash it out. Now, you can buy air filter cleaner that you can wash your air filter out with that. You can wash them out with kerosene. You can wash them out with fuel. We wash them out with the fuel using the 2-stroke fuel. Wash them out like that. Once you've washed it out and cleaned it out, then hot soapy water. You can clean it further with hot soapy water. And then clear water and rinse all the soap and stuff out. Dry it all out. I used to, when I had the 3 boys, and I used to hang them on a fan and to dry them out if I needed to dry them out quickly, or you can just let them hang for a part of a couple of days or whatever. The important thing, and then of course you lube your air filter. Now everyone has a different way of doing things. I only ever lube the air side. I don't lube the inside. I only ever lube the outside. So where your air's coming into your air filter, that's what I lube. Making sure if you're using a spray that you get in around all the edges and make sure you've got all the air areas, if you want to call it that, where the air's getting drawn through, is covered with your spray. Now another thing I do is I use waterproof grease, and I'll put a slight smear on the lip of the air filter where it sits on your air box. Now the reason for doing that is that to ensure that you've definitely sealed it, because that's the most important thing to do, is to seal your air filter into your air box, because that's where your dust and dirt's going to get in there. Okay, so I put a smear of waterproof grease. You don't need heaps. And it washes out quite easily when you're washing it out with your fuel or Kero or whatever. And then when you're fitting the air filter, make sure you check that it's definitely sitting on the lip. Right? Number one important thing of your whole bike.
On the point of once you've sprayed the air filter, chuck it in a plastic bag and make sure you squeeze it through the filter.
Yeah, that's
just leave bubbles of oil.
Yeah, that's a good idea. What Neil says. Make sure you work the lubricant that you put on your air filter, work it into the foam, and make sure it's evenly dispersed.
Now, how often should people actually change their air filter? Like how should you get a new one? Like, is it a 6 monthly thing?
Yeah.
Every 3 weeks? Every 3 months?
No, it's based on inspection, basically. Okay. So you need to ensure you'll see that they're actually
glued with the seams.
Glued sections. Make sure that's holding together. As I said the last episode about having one at a trial. So if you've got two, you should really always have at least 2 air fillers. So if an air filler does break down, you've got another one there to put straight in, and then you can replace it. But so basically, it's on inspection.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd get a couple of years for the average.
Yeah.
Rider.
Yeah. Yeah. They'll last quite a while. So number one, Uno, important though. So what do we got next?
We've got the Carby bowl drain and Carby cleaned.
Right. So we
did that about 3 weeks ago.
At the last episode. So about draining your Carby. Now, it's a good idea to at least drain your Carby bowl for every trial. At least do that. Neil will always pull his Carby out every trial, clean it, make sure everything's smicky smack, and put it back in.
Smicky smack. Jesus, you're really... You're coming up with them today there, Simon.
Smicky smack. Right.
I'd really like to see what's in your drink.
What's the next one, Jess?
Mixture screw set correct.
Yeah. Now, this is one often I say to people, say, oh, the bike's running a little bit funny, and I go, have you checked your mixture screw? And they go, what? No, what's that? Right. Now, check it with the vibration of the bike, your mixture screw will change.
What is a mixture screw?
So, mixture screw is a little screw on the side of your Carby.
Yep.
You remember I talked on the last episode about...
That was 3 weeks ago. What has
no, it wasn't 3 weeks ago. It was a week ago. We do these episodes every week.
We didn't do an episode last week because Buglogs was in there, so technically 2 weeks.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. So your mixer screw is the screw on the side of your Carby, and it can either be on the air side of your Carby or on the fuel side of your Carby. And what that does is it's for your idling setting, basically.
Yep.
And that mixer screw adjusts fuel or air to get you the right mixture for idling and coming off idle onto your main jet.
Oh, okay.
Now, I know that sounds quite technical,
yes.
But it's simply a screw there. Now, normal, so for McCuney's standard setting is 1.5 turns out.
Yep.
So what that means is you screw your mixture screw in until it bottoms out.
Yep.
And then you just turn it out 1.5 turns. Now on the Keens...
and a turn is 360 degrees, not 180.
Yeah. 360 degree turn is a full turn. So if I was doing a McCuney, it'd be 1.5.
Yeah.
1.5. So with the Keens, normally with the 300s, with Neil's, depending on the jetting and of course your needle height, where you've got your needle height, we generally run around about 3 out. Now, with a mixer screw, once you get to 3 out, that's pretty well, it doesn't matter if you go any further because that's pretty well maximum air on the Keens anyway. So, but check what your setting should be and then always double check that. What do we got next?
Chain, lube, and tension.
Yep, definitely. Lube your chain, check your tension on it. I think I've talked to you about, I've had people where they never did any adjustment on their chain and it's doubled up on the front sprocket. If it's all sloppy, it'll double up on the front sprocket and then you could damage your casing. And that. Next one.
Oh, me. Oh, okay. I didn't realise I was reading them out, but yes, I shall read them out now. So we've got the throttle returns cleanly and slide bottoms out in the Carby.
Yeah. So with your, particularly if you've got bar ends on your bike, and you've had to chop your grip off to get your bar end in, dirt is quite susceptible for getting under your throttle tube, between your throttle tube and your handlebars. So it doesn't hurt to pop your bar end off, pull your throttle off, clean all that around and make sure it returns easily. And the number one rule is once you do any work with your Carby, your throttle cable or your throttle, always check your throttle. Just open your throttle up, let it drop a bit and listen that your carby slide is actually bottoming out. You know, for that's an important bit. So
That's actually one of the very last check on here.
yeah, and you'll see that's further down again to be sure. Tire pressures and
That was my job. I was waiting. I was getting all excited.
okay, let's go, Jess.
So we've got tire pressure set and valves not at an angle.
Yep, cool.
And then we need to. Oh,
And there's a little bit of a growth in two strokes these days. Twin shocks, I meant to say. In twin shocks where you're running tubes front and rear. In the old days, we used to actually file out on an angle, so your valve stem, if it ever got dragged in, it didn't actually rip off your thing. So there's a bit of a tip for you.
we need to make sure that spokes are tight and checked wheel bearings.
Yep, check that out because your machine examiner will be on there if you're not.
And that the foot pegs return and are straight.
Yeah.
We need the bar ends to be plugged in or in place, and then to go over all your nuts and bolts.
Check your nuts.
Frank Walling,
Yes.
remember.
We like tight nuts.
check all your nuts and bolts. Otherwise your muffler will fall off again. Oh no, we've lost Jess now. Oh dear. Now double check that your carby slide bottoms out. Right. Now start your bike.
I really like that you've included that the bike starts.
Yeah.
That's
Now I'll just make a point about this. Now if you've just washed your bike, don't go and start your bike straight away. Right? If you've just washed your bike and you think, oh gee, I want to make sure it goes, then the worst thing you can do is start it up straight away, because if there's moisture in around your air filter, you're going to draw that moisture into your motor, and then if you're sitting there for a week until the next trial, or 2 weeks till the next trial, you've got that moisture inside your motor. So don't start your bike up until it's all dried down, you've checked your air filter and all that sort of stuff. So,
and then yes, you can test your kill switch just by turning off the bike and pulling the switch, making sure that works.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
That's the way.
That's
Yep.
it.
No worries.
Now, just in general, how long should this take someone? In roughly. So like if someone goes, oh, I'm going to go do it, do they need to allow 2 hours, 3 hours? I know it all depends on the person, but roughly per se. Realistically,
I mean, to wash and dry off and lube down your bike half an hour or so.
Yep.
To do that check sheet, it really is a half an hour.
Yep.
Realistically, if you're set up to go. It shouldn't take you much longer than that.
The more you do it, the faster you'll get.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you soon come to terms which nuts and bolts you do need to check.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go, yeah, I know those ones are pretty good, but you know what I mean. So half an hour is really what you're talking about.
So hour all up between washing it and blowing it down.
Yeah.
Doing your checks.
Yeah. So what you do is you wash your bike, you dry it down, you put your WD-40 on it, and then that might be all you do for that particular day, and you come back a day later and do all your checks and stuff like that. But I do recommend you do this straight away. Don't leave it until the day before the next trial.
Oh, well, where's now the fun and excitement of just running on a whim, because everything's breaking down.
Exactly. So, get into it quick and go from there. So there's your check. The other little thing I was going to show you is, what's that, Jess?
That is a clear thingamabobby. Now that thingamabobby has a casing and it looks like it's got an arrow.
Yeah.
It's got a shiny metally thing in the inside. I would generally normally do it as an earplug, but I kind of don't think it goes there, does it? Nose?
No. So fuel filter. It's
what?
It's a fuel filter.
Oh, damn it, because my next option was it could have been a spinning
what's
top.
The name? Yeah. So it's one thing to have a think about. If you don't have a fuel filter on your bike, it's a good idea to pop one on. Definitely if you're running an old bike with a steel tank. But if you're going to get dirt in your fuel, probably the only place it's going to come from is when you're fueling your bike up, and it's going to come down that way. So, and have a look on your fuel filter. I've done it myself. Put them on the wrong way. There is a directional flow on fuel filters.
I was going to say, is that why it's got the arrow pointing on it as the...
So it shows you the correct flow.
It says flow.
Yeah.
I actually thought that read slow. I thought, oh, Jesus, I might need to get glasses.
Yeah. So, it's a good idea to chuck one of those in as well. So, bike news.
Bike news. Oh, we've got bikes coming in.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So we have beaters in stock at the moment.
Yep.
I can't actually tell you which ones they are, but, they're red, white, and blue and have 2 wheels and a handlebar.
Yeah.
Can't really give you the specifications on sizes.
So
But
we got the factories. So we got beaters standards in stock at the moment. The factories are landing in April.
well, that's only like 3 days away.
Which is not far away, but unfortunately it looks like it's going to be at the late April part.
Is that because of the floods?
No, that's not due to that. It's due to COVID.
Yeah.
Shipping's really unpredictable at the moment. So I know there's a few quite excited people waiting for their bikes.
Yes.
So for the people who have got beaters coming, you're going to have to be a little bit more patient. Unfortunately, there's going to be some nice shiny bikes before yours come, because the other exciting news is the other thing is gases we've got in stock.
And you said you've got your 125. Is it a 125?
Yep. We've gone. So you're going to be able to, this weekend, you'll be able to see the 2021 gas in the flesh. Now we've got a 125 that you can test ride. We've got a 250 you can test ride, and we've got a 300 you can test ride. So I've got a little 125 to have a crack at. If you want to have a ride on one, test it out by all means. Grant Morris has got a 250. He's more than happy to lend it to people to have a bit of a test ride
Neil's
on.
Got 300.
And Neil will have his 300 there.
I think he'll be chomping at the bit, because I think that's about the first time he's going to be riding it.
Well, that's right. This will be his first real ride on
the pressure is on.
Now, the other exciting news is I just received a text message today.
I don't know if it's too exciting, because it doesn't include my bike.
I know, but the person that's waiting will be very excited. So if you're watching the show, I've received a text message from TNT, and the TRSs are ready to be picked up. So I'll be going down there this afternoon to pick them up.
I wonder who that lucky person is.
We just lost a viewer.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we just lost a viewer. No point in coming over here. I haven't got it yet. But also in there, so now that is the first TRS electric start in WA.
Nice.
So that'll be interesting, and all intensive purposes, I can't see why it won't be at the trial this weekend. So there, and another one is we debuted the TRS electric kids. Yep. So we got 2 in this shipment there. So we'll have one of them on display this weekend. They are an awesome little bike. What else we got? We got Vertigo. Actually, the ship was due to port yesterday. So I haven't had any update on that. So there's a nice new shiny Vertigo coming over to WA as well. So I'm expecting that early April as well. So there we go.
That's about it on the bike news.
Next events, what do we got?
So this weekend we've got the Pathfinders.
Yep, Pathfinders.
And at David Thomas's.
Summer Series 2.
Yep, and then the following... it's a full-on week for trials. We've got 3 trials in a row, so get excited, people. I finally get to ride one. Yay!
Yeah.
So we've got that, and then the Easter trial with Gas.
The Gas Fun Day.
That's it.
Yep.
And I hear that's a bit of a fancy schmancy trial.
Yeah. So if you're new to trials, the Gas Fun Day is it's a little bit of a speed event mixed in with trials. So you actually get time through a bit of a pre-section, and then you actually get time through the section as well. So I've only ever ridden it once. Due to me, wanting to eat my Easter eggs. So I've only ridden it once.
I wonder if the Easter Bunny's going to be delivering some eggs around the tracks. That would be quite interesting.
Hey, that's a thought. Yeah. So we got that, and then
and after that is the AJS Summer Series with Early Bird? Early Bird Summer Series, Twilight Series. Oh, there's so many series.
That'll be number 2 at Mental
Falls. Yes.
Mental Falls. So yeah. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing you at the next events. The other news is...
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Thanks to Jessica, we have...
Gift vouchers.
So we've got gift vouchers for birthdays.
Oh yeah, I should have done one for anniversaries too. I'll have to do another one of those. But no, I've covered everything. So we've got birthdays, Valentine's Days, Mother's Days, Father's Day, and there wasn't Christmas. Yes, and Christmas. Might even have to do with some.
Have we got one for Easter?
Might have to do one. We might have to do one and secretly, sneakily place it around somewhere and someone can find it. Now that would be a good Easter hunt.
Yeah, cool. Wow, awesome. So I hope you enjoyed the show. We didn't have a timer running, so I don't know how long we've been gabbling on for.
10 minutes. Neil did put a sign up to say that we're at the 30-minute mark, but I think you just completely were blinded.
Been blinded, no worries.
Oh, look at that. Neville says it's his birthday every month. Well, aren't you just a lucky fella there, Nev?
Good on you, Nev. Well, we've got one here for you. No worries, mate. So I hope you've enjoyed the show. We hope we didn't have any technical issues. We didn't get any feedback.
No, I actually had the live feed play on my phone beside me so I could see what was happening and just making sure that, yes, I think Neil finally got his technical...
What do you mean finally?
I was gonna say.
There's to be more errors.
Oh wait, should I be like Audrey? Neil finally got his sugar cube ice and tea ready and all organised. We didn't have any issues.
I feel sorry for Neil. You notice we're in the studio at the moment.
Yeah, he doesn't have his desk. He doesn't have his workspace.
Shifting all his tech gear into the shed is a real nightmare for him. And it is a bit of a challenge for the sound and the lighting. You might notice we put a curtain up to try and soften off the lights when we're in the workshop.
We will be in a studio one day.
But hopefully in the future we'll have a better setup for the workshop so Neil doesn't get too stressed. But so just a reminder to Paul Peacock, I will be coming over this weekend to you to check your tool chest.
Oh.
Okay.
Tool chest.
I was like going, oh, okay.
Don't you remember the last show?
No.
You said tool chest and you got all excited.
No, I don't remember that.
So no worries, people. It's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
And we really look forward to seeing you at the next trials all month.
That's it.
Take care.
See you next week.
See ya.
Ciao.
Bye.